What's up, guys? So I am finding out that a lot of what I've heard is true regarding what happens when you start to truly level up spiritually. What happens when you start putting down the sin, start leaving the ways of the world, and you start following the righteous path. And then you do that long enough, you start to receive blessings like joy, contentment, clarity, confidence, all of these things. And it gets to a point where, blessings include maybe even, people just want to give you things, and you just have this sense of like you're just taken care of and you're not stressing on the stuff you used to stress on, because you understand that you are now in God's favor, and that you have been chosen. So I want to talk a little bit about this whole chosen one thing. First of all, I got to give a shout out to New Breed Global, the channel on YouTube. This guy, New Breed, he claims, and I'll take his word for it. About 6 years ago, he was the first guy to make a video about this chosen one stuff, and kind of generate that talking point. Now, of course, this is in reference to biblical scripture. Many are called, few are chosen, so that's what we're talking about, is those that have been chosen, because God calls on so many of his children, if not all of them at some point. But not everybody hears the call. Not everybody's soul is ready in this life to receive that mission. It's not that God, picked you and decided that you're better than anybody else. He's chosen you for a specific purpose here. We could call it a higher purpose, but when I use the word higher, I'm not saying better. I mean, like, you have a more spiritual purpose here. You're not here to participate in the world, and that's why you've always felt kind of strange, when you were in school. Whenever you've been in like groups of people, you've always felt a little different, and people have noticed that you're a little different, and you probably suffered because of that to some degree, and you tried to fit in, and you went against your true nature. You made compromises you didn't need to make. You put yourself in bad company, and you engaged in behaviors you shouldn't have engaged in. This is all part of the process, right? I think this is something that the chosen ones tend to go through. Now, what I'm going through right now, guys, is like, I'm getting attacked, man, through people. It's like, and I understand, I have enough wisdom at this point to know that it's not the people themselves. The people themselves are infected by negative spirits, negative entities. We call them demons, right? The spirit of jealousy, the spirit of resentment, the spirit of anger. These are the kinds of things that infect people, right? And so when people who are deeply infected by these things, because of the choices that they're making in their lives and the thoughts that they're thinking and the beliefs that they have, when they come across people like us who are starting to really vibrate and shine on a whole other level, they become very jealous. And because what they start to see too is that we're not having to work so hard. It's like the birds don't toil and neither do we, right? It's like we can be, grinding, like busting ass, getting a lot of things done, but we don't do it with this feeling of like heavy burden, man. It's just what we do. It's just like an effortless thing, man. It's kind of like you get like a really, really, really strong weightlifter, right? And you just put an empty barbell in their hands and they'll just throw that thing around like it's nothing. You put that same barbell in, a child's hands and they're gonna fall over. They can't handle it, right? So there's like a spiritual equivalent to that. And when you become very spiritually strong, you can handle stuff and you are walking in this righteous path. God sees that. God favors that. And God's gonna favor you in a sense, right? And it's like, because he's carrying the burden, right? Because you've given it to God now. You don't have to try so hard. I hope this makes sense. And this is what people that have to try so hard. And that's why they don't have that much energy. That's why they want to leech energy off of us, because they're worn out, because they're trying so hard, because they're going against their true nature, right? Our true nature is benevolence, love, mercy, compassion, joy. We're made in God's image. Very few of us are embodying that, though. Very few people, you know. And the more you do embody that, the more you are in contact with your creator, and things just start to happen for you, right? You do the footwork, but it's effortless because you're guided. You're being guided. So I'm somebody that, you know, other people that don't have this, that have to try so hard because they're going against their true nature and they're infected by negative entities. They see a guy like me and they're jealous, and, you know, they slander me and they accuse me of things, and they say, you know, I've had people even, you know, come in my DMs and be like, who do you think you are to say this and that? You know, you're like a trust fund kid or something like that. And it's crazy because I've never had a trust fund. My parents struggle financially. I never inherited anything. It's just not like that. But people will make those assumptions, and then they'll tell other people that's the case, right? And it's jealousy. You know, the thing is, like, God takes care of me, you guys. I'm in a position now where it's like people will just give me things. Literally, people just say, here's a shirt, man. Here's this, here's that, here's some money. Straight up, it's like that. It's like that. Sometimes I'll like go to the store, right, and I'll try to pay for something, and the person at the counter is like, don't worry about it today. You know, I am not lying. This is the kind of thing that happens to me. And so people might, you know, see me, people that are in a low state, and basically they're like, screw this guy, you know, like, why is he so, you know, it's not fair, he's privileged, you know. They love that thing nowadays, you know. And of course that's being pushed, that's an agenda, that's a psychological warfare, you know, thing that's going on, where people are really being encouraged to see themselves and others as victims, right? And it's a very toxic way of thinking, because as soon as you start blaming anybody or anything, you're not taking accountability. And when you're not taking accountability, there's no real room for growth in your life, right? And you basically just, you cut yourself off from the Holy Spirit, man. Accountability is like absolutely, positively, fundamentally mandatory on this journey. You can't elevate spiritually without it, right? So those of us that are on this journey, right, we take accountability for our actions. We don't blame anybody. We don't point fingers. We're not victims. But a lot of people out there really do believe that they're victims, and then they'll see people like us and they'll say, oh, that guy's privileged, you know, and they say it's not fair. It's not fair. You know, people don't understand, man, the sacrifices we make. They don't understand what we've been through, how hard life has been for us, the kind of tribulations and adversities that we have overcome to get to the place that we're at, right? It's true for all of us. You know, if you really are truly a chosen one, this is true for you. This is going to resonate with you. You've had it hard, man. Life has not been easy for you, but at the same time, you've been protected the whole time, and you know it, right? You can look back and be like, wow, you know, a lot of other people that did stuff I did ended up dead, but I'm still alive with some wisdom that I gained from going down those dark pathways and then making my way out, right? It's almost like we died and we got resurrected. That's kind of like what happens when you go on SR after being a lust-driven man full of addictions and attachments and envy and jealousy and pride and vanity and gluttony and sloth and all of these things, right? When you start to make your way out of that, you know, it changes everything. It changes everything about your life, everything. And then those people out there that are victims, that they're still in the victim mentality, they'll make all sorts of excuses and they can't stand the fact that you're doing well. It's weird. It's so weird. I'm very grateful to be in a state where I am fully capable of feeling happy for other people, happy for their success. I want to see other people succeed. I'm not in a competition anymore, right? Social media is a huge culprit, drives this competitive mentality. You know, we're so encouraged through popular culture, through sports, through media, through the movies and the narratives in the movies, man. There's all this subliminal information that encourages us to compare ourselves to everybody else. And that is so toxic for us. Compare yourself today to the previous version of you and just improve. That's the only comparison we really need to make, man. Am I better today than I was yesterday? That's about it. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, right? So, okay. Had to pop on and say that because I've been getting attacked like crazy lately. But you know what? I'm having a great day anyways. And I'm about to have an amazing day. About to have the best day ever. And I hope you do too. Peace, guys.